All right. Prime Day's here. It's like Christmas morning for deal hunters, especially when it comes to Apple products. But let's be real for a sec. Are these deals really worth getting all worked up over? Or are we just getting, I don't know, caught up in all the hype?
Right, everyone loves a deal. And Apple stuff, that's like next level desirability.
Exactly.
But yeah, you gotta wonder, are these Prime Day deals truly the steals they seem? Or is it all just clever marketing? That's what we're gonna figure out today.
I'm so ready to dive in.
We're going deep, gonna use this Engadget article as our guide. Apple Prime Day deals include record low prices on AirPods, Apple Watches, iPads, MacBooks, and more.
Love it. A little tech journalism to light our way.
We'll sift through the noise and uncover the real gems, the med deals, and maybe even a few traps to avoid.
Music to my ears. I am all about informed shopping, no buyer's remorse here.
Smart. So should we jump right in?
Let's do it. And speaking of jumping in, Engadget's making a big deal about the AirPods Pro 2nd gen being at their lowest price ever. Is it time to empty our wallets or what?
Whoa there and there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's definitely a big price drop, no doubt, but let's think about why. Apple's known for their little product cycle dance, right? So this could be them clearing out stock to make way for, drumroll please, something new and shiny.
Ooh, a potential new AirPods model on the horizon. That's good intel for anyone wanting to be an early adopter. But for those who are all about value, like me, these AirPods Pro at their lowest price ever, that's got to be tempting.
Oh, for sure. Especially because the AirPods Pro, they're top-notch earbuds. Especially if you're already deep in the Apple world, everything just works together seamlessly.
It's that ecosystem magic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at this price, it's hard to resist.
Totally. All right, let's say you want to tune out the world completely, escape into your music. Engadget's also talking about the AirPods Max, also at an all-time low price. Sounds too good to be true.
Well, there's a but coming, isn't there?
Always.
The deal's for the older model, the one that still uses the Lightning charger. Not the end of the world, but...
Yeah, not ideal if you're all about that USB-C life.
Right. Who wants to deal with multiple chargers?
It's the little things, you know? All right, so for the USB-C devotees out there, maybe skip this one, even with the discount. Let's move on to wearables. The Apple Watch SE 2nd gen is on sale, and Engadget's saying it's a great entry point, especially at this price. But I feel like you're about to drop some knowledge on me, righto?
Well, they're not wrong. It is a good price. But, and this is important, it is the older generation. So you miss out on the fancy new stuff, the bigger always-on display, the super advanced health sensors. It's all about what you're looking for, really.
A classic case of balancing cost versus features. So how does someone listening decide if this Apple Watch SE deal is the right move?
Good question. If you're just dipping your toes into the smartwatch world, want the basics without breaking the bank, it's a win. But if you're the kind of person who needs the latest and greatest, all the bells and whistles, then, well, maybe hold off a bit, yeah.
Makes sense. Sometimes that future-proofing is worth the extra cost, you know? Okay, let's talk MacBook Air, to be specific. We've got deals on both the older M2 model, pretty hefty discount there, and the newer M3, smaller price drop. Help us out here for those who aren't tech wizards. What's the real difference between an M2 and an M3? And more importantly, is the M3 worth the extra cash? That's the question, right? Like, is it just a bunch of jargon, or is it something I actually need to understand to make a good decision?
It's not just jargon, but it's also not rocket science. Think of it this way. The M3, it's like, you know when you upgrade from a regular bike to like one of those fancy electric ones?
Oh, yeah?
It's that kind of jump in performance. Everything's smoother, faster, more efficient, especially noticeable if you're doing things like, I don't know, video editing, or if you work with really big files.
Okay, so the M3 is like the sports car of laptops, gotcha. But what if I'm not editing videos? What if I'm mostly just like browsing online, checking emails, you know, the usual stuff?
Then the M2 is still an awesome machine, especially with that discount we talked about. You'll be totally fine. Although Engadget does mention something about the RAM. The deals for the base model of the M2 Air, the one with 8 GB of RAM.
RAM, right. Remind me what that's all about again.
Sure. Think of RAM like your computer's short-term memory. The more RAM you have, the more stuff your computer can remember at once, so to speak.
Ah, okay. So like if I'm someone who has a million tabs open at once.
Exactly. Or if you're doing things that need a bit more oomph, like photo editing, then 8 GB might feel a little cramped down the line.
Good to know. It's all about the details, isn't it? Okay, let's move on to iPads. We've got the 9th gen iPad, super cheap, but it's been discontinued. What does that even mean for someone considering this deal? Like, is it going to just stop working one day?
No, it's not going to suddenly die on you. But basically, Apple's moved on. It'll still work, but you won't get all the latest software updates forever. It's a bit of a trade-off.
Right, so you save some money now, but maybe miss out on cool new stuff later.
Yep. It's Prime Day in a nutshell, right? Amazing deals, but you got to weigh your options. And speaking of weighing options, the iPad mini deal. That's a whole other story.
Engadget called it a trap.
With good reason. Rumor has it, a new iPad mini is about to drop. Imagine snagging this deal and then boom, brand new model is announced.
Ouch. Yeah, that's rough. So maybe patience is key here.
It's tough, I know. Sales are tempting, but waiting could mean a better product, or at least you'll have more info to make a good decision.
All right, note to self, don't impulse buy. Okay, before we wrap up the Apple deals, let's talk accessories. We've got the Apple Pencil and the MagSafe charger, both on sale. But are those even worth it if you're not buying a new iPad or iPhone to go with them? So tempting to just add them to the cart, right? What do you think? Are these accessories must-haves, even without a new device?
Okay, the Apple Pencil with the Prime Day discount, it's a tough one to resist, especially if you use your iPad for notes or sketching or even just like navigating.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Oh, yeah. I've heard artists say it's almost like drawing on real paper.
It's that good. It really does make a difference. The MagSafe charger, that one's a little trickier. It's super convenient, don't get me wrong. The magnets, the faster wireless charging, it's slick. But if you're okay with your regular charging cables, it's not, essential.
Yeah, I get it. A nice to have, not a new to have. Okay, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here. AirPods, Apple Watches, MacBooks, iPads, even accessories. We've given our listeners a lot to digest.
Hopefully they're feeling more prepared to navigate those Prime Day deals.
Exactly. But before we unleash everyone on those tempting deals, let's go back to something we touched on earlier, Apple's strategy. We talked about what these deals mean for us, the shoppers, but what about Apple? What do these Prime Day offerings tell us about their game plan?
That's the real mystery, isn't it? It's like looking into a crystal ball, but instead of the future, we're trying to see Apple's thought process.
Okay, I like where this is going. So what's in that crystal ball? What's Apple thinking?
Well, they're all about timing, right? Product cycles, new releases, it's all planned out meticulously. These discounts, especially on the older models, they're not random. It's like they're testing the waters.
You think so? Like a little market research on the sly. Let's see how many people bite on this older model at this price. Gives us data for the next generation.
Exactly. They're always one step ahead, anticipating what people want. And events like Prime Day, perfect testing ground.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. It's like we're all part of Apple's grand experiment.
In a way, yeah. Which is why it's so important to be a savvy shopper. Don't just see the discount, see the strategy behind it.
That's such a good point. So to all our listeners out there braving the wilds of Prime Day, remember, a deal is great, but knowledge is power. Do your research, think critically, and you'll be just fine. And hey, if you snag an amazing Apple gadget on Prime Day, we want to hear about it. Share your wins with us on social media. That's it for our Prime Day deep dive. Until next time, happy shopping.